60. The Word of the King. Psalm 24 presents us with God the King in his throne room, in the temple or tabernacle with the covenant people approaching him. As King and Judge of all creation, his entry is marked by a demand for silence. In our courts today, when the judge enters, the cry of the court officer is, "Silence in the court!" The judge alone speaks, or those to whom he grants permission to speak. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 20 has this in mind when it declares, "The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him." The earth must keep silence because the supreme judge speaks. It is of the essence of kingship that it declares the law. It guides, comforts, defends, rebukes, and judges. The earth must be silent before the great King because his word is law, his word is omnipotent and binding, and there is none other who can speak to man's condition. As men approach the presence of the great King, they are reminded of his judgment on the world before the flood. The foundation of God's government over the world and all they that dwell therein is his righteousness, and the judgment of the world by means of the flood means that the world has no foundation in and of itself. It has the insecurity of historical process which manifests God's judgment. History is firmly anchored in the fact of the flood and all floods of judgment. Men and nations are founded upon the seas of history. The earth is reminded of all this as it approaches the throne. Plummer commented on this fact. The earth is the Lord's. This clause contains the truth on which the rest of the psalm is founded. The message is to the inhabitants of the earth, and the first thing said to them is, "The very earth on which you walk is Jehovah's, not yours." Here God has rights of ownership and rights of sovereignty, undeniable and inalienable. He is the proprietor to the exclusion of all others. Satan is the god of this world in no other sense than as a usurper, supported by the wicked, who are his children. The gods of the heathen are vanities and lies. They can neither see, nor save, nor hear, nor help. They and the devil have no rights here. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Only those can approach the throne who are faithful to the King. Faithfulness means faith and obedience, both clean hands and a pure heart. It means one who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. The favour and blessing of God the King is manifested to all such. He shall receive the blessing from the Lord, and righteousness from the God of his salvation. The King's favourites are those who obey him and who manifest his spirit. Such people are the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob. Or, the Berkeley version reads, who seek thy face like Jacob. J. A. Alexander rendered it, this is the generation seeking him. The seekers of thy face are Jacob. That is, the true Jacob, the true Israel. The true Jacob is Israel, a prince before God. Psalm 24, apparently celebrating the investiture of Jerusalem, was written to be sung when the Ark of the Lord was brought to the recently captured Jebusite city, Jerusalem. Now to be the capital of the Davidic realm, it is therefore, since Israel is a covenant nation, to be the throne city of God, the universal King. In verses 1 to 6, the majesty of God the King is celebrated and the conditions of approach to God. 3 months earlier, Uzzah had perished. 2 Samuel chapter 6, verses 6 to 11, for his casual and lawless approach to God. God's requirements are binding in that their every detail, and Uzzah had regarded his practical considerations as more important than God's order. As the procession approached Jerusalem, it halted before the city's closed gates to demand their submission. The name of the incoming king, compare 2 Samuel 6 2b, is declared to be the Lord, mighty in battle. The Lord had recently given David victory in all his battles. This, however, is an insufficient description of God the King. His reign is more than national, and the grounds of his kingship are more than the success of Israel. He is the King of the universe, King of all creation, and not only the ancient doors of Jerusalem must open to him, but all doors and gates of time and eternity. This designation alone was insufficient to warrant the opening of the gates, and the call to provide access to the city is repeated. 9. The Lord's presence and preeminence in Zion is based on grounds other than his intervention in Israel's historic battles. The Lord is King of all in his own right, possessing powers and qualities which transcend earth and time. The King of glory is the Lord of hosts. 10. Compare 1 Kings 22, verse 19. This high concept of God has been foreshadowed in the Psalm's opening words, whose meaning extends far beyond the temporal and national outlook of Israel. The implications of all this are immediately obvious. First, at the moment of Israel's triumph and joy, the fact is strongly stressed that God the King is Lord of all nations, and Israel cannot receive him except on the recognition of this fact. The gates of Jerusalem are, in a true sense, closed to the king if they see him only as their king. Isaiah chapter 57 verse 7 says of the strangers or foreigners who are brought to the covenant faith, "Even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar. For mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all nations." The great indictment of the religious leaders of Jerusalem by our Lord cites this fact. It is written, "My house shall be called a house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves." Matthew chapter 21, verse 13. Second, because God is King of all creation, his reign is at all times universal. Every event in history is a manifestation of his plan, purpose, justice, punishment, or blessing. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. The gates of any city of people and the gates of our hearts are in effect closed if we limit God to ourselves, or if we deny his total concern. God's government, care, and concern extend to the very sparrows. Matthew chapter 10, verses 29 to 31. Everything has a place in his plan and care, although we who are redeemed by him are of more value than many sparrows. Matthew chapter 10, verse 31. Third, because God is the universal King, all creation is under his law. Isaiah declares of the Messiah, "Behold, my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not fail nor be discouraged till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law." Isaiah chapter 42, verses 1 and 4. In verse 3 we are told that he shall bring forth judgment unto truth, on which Fitch comments, The idea is that he shall fully and faithfully set forth the law and thereby vindicate his righteous cause. All nations, including the remote islands, shall joyfully await the law or justice of the king. Fourth, it is the purpose of God to unite all nations in obedience to his law and in covenant faithfulness. Isaiah chapter 42, verses 4 to 7, sets this forth powerfully. Thus saith God the Lord, He that created the heavens and stretched them out, He that spread forth the earth, and that which cometh out of it, He that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. The Messiah is given for a covenant of the people, that is, the Gentiles, so that all nations may be brought into covenant faithfulness. Fifth, the Messiah, his covenant and his covenant law, come to the nations and isles as freedom, as release from blindness and from prison. The covenant in its totality means that God is Lord and Creator, that God as King in his mercy redeems the peoples and gives them his servant, the Messiah, to release them from captivity and to give them the freedom of his government and law. In terms of all this, we can understand Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 20. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. The great King speaks. His word is the saving word, the law word, and the absolutely governing word. His word is a total word. It is grace, justice, mercy, peace, and law. And it is also reprobation and warfare against all who keep not silence before him, but insist on declaring their own word